A lot of people are still worried about a Prince George's County woman who has been missing for nearly 2 weeks. I'm talking about 19-year-old Dacara Thompson. Right now, police are waiting on autopsy results after a body was found near Annapolis.
On August 22nd, 2025, 19-year-old Dacara Thompson left her home in Lanham, Maryland. At 11:50 p.m., she sent her father a final message. "I should be back soon. I love you too. Good night." She never returned. Surveillance footage later showed her parking her white 2013 Ford Edge SUV near Jasmine Terrace and Riggs Road in Hyattsville before walking away. That was the last confirmed sighting of her. On September 3rd, police found her SUV still parked at the same location, illegally in front of a fire hydrant. Inside were her purse, wallet, identification, cash, and house keys. Missing from the vehicle were her cell phone and the car's key fob. On August 31st, Maryland State Police discovered a body off Route 50 in Arundel County while responding to a disabled vehicle. Officials reported that the remains were similar in description to Dakara, but identification was pending. The unanswered questions remain. What happened after her final text? Why was her vehicle left abandoned with personal belongings inside? And is the body found connected to her disappearance? The search for clarity continues as investigators work to uncover the truth.
The body has been found in Anne Arundel County. That is the scene that is believed to be connected to the case of a missing Prince George's County 19-year-old who has been missing for close to 2 weeks now. Stephanie Ramirez is live outside of the police headquarters there in Upper Marlboro. Stephanie, what are the updates at this hour, and have police confirmed that the body is in fact that of the missing 19-year-old?
And lastly, Chandria Thomas. She's an investigative journalist, and she's an OWN, which is the Oprah Winfrey Network affiliate. She will be interviewing the parents over the weekend, so you all will be able to see more of that.
Stay with us as we unravel this shocking story and uncover the heartbreaking details of what led to this senseless loss. Before we begin, let us know in the comments, where are you watching from? And what are your thoughts as the story unfolds? Welcome to True Crime Tales, where we reveal the crimes that shock communities and the secrets hidden behind closed doors. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Now, let's begin. Dacara Rose Thompson was a 19-year-old young woman from Lanham, Maryland. She stood approximately 5 feet 2 inches tall, weighed about 105 pounds, and had distinguishing physical features, including brown eyes, long brown hair, multiple tattoos, and a nose ring. She was the youngest of 5 siblings and lived with her parents, Daniel and Carmen Thompson. Her relationship with her family was described as close, and she was particularly known for her regular communication with them. Those who knew Dakara described her as quiet, introverted, and reliable. She maintained a routine of constant communication with her parents and siblings, often updating them on her whereabouts. She utilized location-sharing features on her phone, ensuring her family could see where she was. There was no history of her vanishing, going silent for long periods, or intentionally cutting off communication with her family. At 19, Dakara was in the early stages of planning her adult life. While specific educational or career goals have not been detailed publicly, she was involved with her social circle in Maryland, including friends from school and her community. Her immediate plans were centered on maintaining strong family ties and continuing her path toward independence. On the evening of August 22nd, 2025, Dakara left her home in Lanham at around 10 p.m. She informed her father that she was heading out to get gas for her vehicle, a 2013 white Ford Edge SUV. At 11:50 p.m., she sent what will become her final known text message to her father, Daniel Thompson. The message read, "I got gas and I'm out. I should be back soon. I love you too. Good night, Red Heart." Following this message, there were no further responses or communications from Dakara. Her phone showed no new activity after the text, and the location-sharing feature she normally kept on was suddenly disabled. Surveillance cameras in the Hyattsville and Langley Park area captured Dakara's movements in the early morning hours of August 23rd. At approximately 1:30 a.m., video footage showed her parking her 2013 white Ford Edge SUV near the intersection of Jasmine Terrace and Riggs Road in Langley Park. After parking, she was seen leaving the vehicle and walking toward Riggs Road. That would be the last known visual of her. Later that day, Her SUV was discovered abandoned in the same area. It was parked illegally in front of a fire hydrant. Inside the vehicle, investigators found her purse, wallet, cash, identification, and house keys. Missing from the SUV were her cell phone and the vehicle's key fob. When it became clear that Dakara was not returning home and could not be reached, her parents reported her missing to authorities. In the days that followed, the Thompson family spent significant time at the location where her SUV was found, waiting and searching for any trace of her. Flyers with her photo and details were distributed across Lanham, Hyattsville, and Langley Park. Family members and volunteers went door to door to ask questions and raise awareness. A vigil was organized near the intersection of Jasmine Terrace and Riggs Road, where her vehicle was discovered. Members of the community gathered to support the family and keep attention on the case. On social media, friends, relatives, and community members began sharing posts under the hashtag #FindDakara Thompson, which quickly spread awareness about her disappearance. On August 31st, Maryland State Police responded to a call regarding a disabled vehicle along Route 50 in Anne Arundel County. While handling the unrelated incident, they discovered a female body off the roadway. Authorities noted that the body shared similarities with the description of Dacara Thompson.
A lot of people are still worried about a Prince George's County woman who has been missing for nearly 2 weeks. I'm talking about 19-year-old Dacara Thompson. Right now, police are waiting on autopsy results after a body was found near Annapolis. Our Alexis Wainwright joins me in the studio right now with more on the investigation. So, Alexis, where does this case stand and what are people saying?
Well, Lorenzo, as you mentioned, this is still an active investigation and they're waiting for more results to determine if the 19-year-old is still missing. But in the meantime, we know this case, along with several others, has caused concern for people in Prince George's County. Now, Prince George's County police have confirmed a body found over the weekend near Annapolis shares certain similarities with Dacara Thompson. They're waiting for autopsy results that could come any day now. Now, it's not the news that her family or anyone wants to hear. We've been covering this case since she went missing a few weeks ago. Her case isn't the only active missing persons case. Now, we can tell you this week, the Hyattsville Police Department also put out a critical missing person alert for Erica Perry. These cases have caused the community to speak out. There is a lot of misinformation out there. So we spoke with the Black and Missing Foundation, a nonprofit that focuses on bringing more awareness to missing people of color, who says they want to make sure the community stays vigilant and always seeks out the truth. Now, of course, we will stay updated on this case, and as we learn more, we'll update you and continue to keep on track with police. Now, you can also follow the Black and Missing Foundation on social media, where they continue to post updates and accurate information. Of course, we'll update you more, but for now, back to you, Lorenzo.
Yeah, we'll be thinking of Dakara's family as well. Hopefully they'll get some answers soon. We know this has been an agonizing and just emotional period for them as well. Alexis, thank you.
However, they did not confirm the identity immediately. Officials stated that the remains would undergo an autopsy before a positive identification could be made. This development left her family awaiting confirmation while continuing to hope for information. On September 3rd, Prince George's County Police announced they had officially located and confirmed the abandoned SUV belonging to Dakara at the Jasmine Terrace and Riggs Road intersection in Langley Park. The vehicle was towed for further examination. Interim Police Chief George Nader held a press conference and emphasized that the department was treating the case with the highest level of seriousness. He assured the public that every lead was being investigated. County Executive Aisha Braveboy also spoke publicly, offering condolences to the family of Dacara Thompson while acknowledging the uncertainty they were facing. During this time, Dakara's family continued to make public appeals for clarity, answers, and assistance in locating their daughter or determining what had happened to her. Prince George's County Police took charge of the missing persons case, while Maryland State Police oversaw the investigation into the body discovered along Route 50. Surveillance footage of her SUV and her movements were collected. Investigators analyzed her phone records, call logs, and potential GPS location data. They also interviewed individuals in the area where the SUV was abandoned. The SUV was found with all of her belongings inside, except for 2 items, her cell phone and the key fob. Investigators considered this a significant detail, as it raised questions about whether Dakara left the vehicle voluntarily or under pressure. The sudden disabling of her location-sharing feature was also a focal point in the investigation. Authorities worked to determine if she manually turned it off or if it was disabled under other circumstances. Her last known movements, captured on surveillance, showed her walking away from her vehicle in Langley Park. Investigators questioned whether she was meeting someone, being followed, or moving under unknown conditions. The disappearance of 19-year-old Dacara Thompson prompted a large-scale investigation involving multiple law enforcement agencies, the local community, and her family. What began as a missing persons report quickly developed into a case drawing statewide attention when her vehicle was located abandoned and a body was discovered days later in a neighboring county. The sequence of investigative steps reveals the layers of evidence, unanswered questions, and a determination of those involved in seeking clarity. The primary investigation was led by the Prince George's County Police Department, PGPD, which took charge of the missing persons case after Dakara was reported missing on August 23, 2025. Maryland State Police became involved separately after the discovery of a body on August 31, 2025, along Route 50 in Arundel County. While the two investigations were handled by different divisions, they intersected due to the possibility that the unidentified body could belong to Dakara. Investigators began by reviewing surveillance footage obtained from multiple locations. Video evidence placed Dakara's 2013 white Ford Edge SUV near Jasmine Terrace and Riggs Road in Langley Park. Cameras captured her parking the vehicle and later walking away toward Riggs Road. This visual record confirmed her last known movements. No footage has been released publicly showing what occurred after she walked away, leaving uncertain about where she went or who she might have met. Phone records became another critical focus. Investigators examined her last communications, including the text message to her father at 11:50 p.m. on August 22nd, stating she had gotten gas and was heading home. Shortly afterward, her phone location sharing was disabled. Authorities analyzed her call history, text records, and GPS activity, but details on what was discovered have not been made public. The disabling of her location services was flagged as a significant anomaly, given that she regularly shared her location with family. Maryland State Police, working on the body recovery off Route 50, awaited autopsy confirmation to establish whether the remains were connected to Dakara. Their investigation focused on the circumstances surrounding the body's discovery, the terrain where it was located, and any evidence left at the scene. Until the identity could be confirmed, the case proceeded on two tracks: a missing person search and a possible homicide inquiry. Several key pieces of evidence emerged early in the investigation. The first was the discovery of her SUV, which became central to the timeline. The vehicle was found parked illegally in front of a fire hydrant near Jasmine Terrace and Riggs Road, an unusual location considering its residential setting. Inside the SUV were personal belongings: her purse, wallet, cash identification, and house keys. These items suggested she had not left voluntarily for an extended absence, as essential items remained behind. Missing from the SUV were two items: her cell phone and the car's key fob. Both absences raised investigative questions. The phone's disappearance, coupled with the disabled location sharing, cut off a vital communication channel. The missing key fob suggested either she had taken it with her or someone else had removed it, leaving investigators to determine whether this indicated her intention to return or if another individual was involved. Another critical clue was the timing of her final movements. The surveillance video confirmed she walked away from her SUV, yet it did not clarify her destination. The Langley Park area where she was last seen is heavily populated, with multiple businesses and residential complexes. Investigators canvassed the area, searching for additional footage or witnesses. Despite these efforts, no public reports of sightings or leads have emerged beyond the last camera footage. The disabling of her location services was one of the most perplexing details. Family members stressed that Dakara routinely shared her phone location. Investigators considered whether she disabled it herself or if it was turned off by someone else. Either possibility carried implications about her state of mind and the circumstances of her disappearance. The community response played a significant role in the search for Dakara. Within days of her disappearance, vigils were organized near the intersection where her SUV was discovered. Attendees gathered to raise awareness, share flyers, and ensure her name remained visible in the public eye. These events drew neighbors, friends, and concerned residents who wanted to show support for the family. Awareness campaigns spread through social media under the hashtag #FindDakara Thompson, with posts circulating her description, last known location, and vehicle details. These efforts reached beyond Maryland, gaining attention from surrounding states and drawing media coverage. Volunteers contributed by canvassing neighborhoods, distributing flyers, and contacting local businesses to check for surveillance footage. To assist with financial and logistical needs, a GoFundMe page was launched by her mother, Carmen Thompson. The campaign outlined the urgency of the search and the need for community support. Contributions went towards search efforts, awareness materials, and family expenses during the ongoing investigation. Search teams also participated directly. Volunteers combed areas around Langley Park, Jasmine Terrace, and Riggs Road. Groups extended searches into wooded areas and vacant lots, focusing on spots where evidence might have been overlooked. Despite these extensive efforts, no new discoveries were reported until the body was found in Anne Arundel County on August 31st. The Thompson family maintained an active and visible presence throughout the case. They consistently appealed to the public for assistance and shared updates about Dakara's habits and character to emphasize that her disappearance was out of the ordinary. Carmen Thompson became the primary spokesperson for the family. Through the GoFundMe page and interviews, she emphasized that her daughter was not someone who would vanish without notice. Her statement, "She's not one to go quiet like this," underscored the family's belief that foul play was involved. Carmen issued continuous public updates, using both local media and online platforms to encourage anyone with information to come forward. She also coordinated with community members to sustain the momentum of the search. Daniel Thompson held particular significance in the case due to his role in receiving Dakara's final text message. The message confirmed her last known communication before her disappearance. Daniel expressed disbelief that his daughter would have willingly disappeared, citing her consistent communication with family. His perspective highlighted the abrupt and unexplained nature of her silence, reinforcing investigators' suspicion that outside circumstances contributed to her disappearance. Dakara's siblings and extended relatives provided additional context about her daily life, habits, and personality. They describe her as responsible, introverted, and family-oriented. Relatives voiced their concerns publicly, speculating that abduction or foul play was a possibility. Their involvement added layers of testimony about her character and further strengthened the case that her disappearance did not align with her normal behavior. When Prince George's County Police located Dakara's 2013 white Ford Edge SUV on September 3rd near Jasmine Terrace and Riggs Road in Langley Park, investigators noted that her belongings were still inside. Her purse, wallet, house keys, and cash were present, untouched. The vehicle was illegally parked in front of a fire hydrant. The missing items were her phone and her car key fob. This discovery raises critical questions. If Dakara had planned to leave voluntarily, it would make little sense to abandon her vehicle with valuables intact. If robbery had been the motive, it is unlikely that money and personal possessions will be left behind. The condition of the SUV suggests a sudden interruption or a deliberate effort to stage the scene. Investigators have not confirmed whether fingerprints, DNA, or other forensic evidence were recovered from the vehicle. Surveillance footage placed Dakara parking her SUV near the intersection of Jasmine Terrace and Riggs Road in the early hours after her last text message. She was captured walking toward Riggs Road. At this point, her phone's location sharing had been disabled. Authorities have not released whether anyone else was seen on the footage with her or following her. This leaves an unresolved issue. Was she meeting someone that night? Did she voluntarily turn off location sharing? Or did someone else do it? The last known contact with her, aside from her text to her father, has not been made public. Until investigators confirm who, if anyone, interacted with her that evening, the timeline remains incomplete. The absence of her phone and car key fob stands out. These are items she would have had on her person when leaving the SUV. Their disappearance indicates they may have been intentionally taken, either by Dakara or another party. If her phone was taken to prevent tracking or communication, it suggests an intentional act to delay discovery. If the key fob was removed, it could prevent others from moving the vehicle, or it could have been taken by someone who intended to use it later. Without these items, investigators lose potential sources of information such as GPS history, text records, or even fingerprints. The surveillance footage showing her walking away from her car suggests she may have been headed to meet someone. It remains unclear whether she was meeting a friend, acquaintance, or stranger. If she had planned to meet someone, why was this not communicated to her family, with whom she typically stayed in close contact? The neighborhood where her car was abandoned, Langley Park, has been noted by local law enforcement as an area with higher levels of crime compared to surrounding communities. Whether her presence was connected to a planned meeting, a chance encounter, or something else entirely remains unresolved. On August 31st, Maryland State Police discovered a body off Route 50 in Anne Arundel County while responding to a disabled vehicle. The location where the body was found is miles from Langley Park. The timeline of how Dakara may have traveled or been transported from Langley Park to Route 50 has not been explained. This raises a possibility that after leaving her SUV, she entered another vehicle. Whether she went willingly or under duress is unknown. Investigators will need to establish whether surveillance cameras, traffic cameras, or witness reports tracked any movement from Langley Park toward Route 50 during the critical window of time between her disappearance and the discovery of the body. At the time of discovery, law enforcement confirmed that the body had similarities to Dakara, but identity confirmation was pending an autopsy. If the body is confirmed to be hers, the autopsy will determine the cause and manner of death. The cause of death is crucial in shifting the investigation from a missing person case to a homicide inquiry. If foul play is confirmed, investigators will look for evidence of assault, restraint, or toxic substances. If the body is not hers, the mystery of Dakara's whereabouts deepens, leaving her family and community in ongoing uncertainty. Dacara Thompson's disappearance highlights a broader issue: the disparity in media coverage between missing black women and missing individuals from other racial backgrounds. Advocates have long pointed out that cases involving young black women often receive less national attention, which can delay the spread of vital information. National databases show that black women and girls make up a disproportionate number of missing persons cases, yet their stories frequently fail to gain traction in mainstream outlets. This lack of coverage can reduce public pressure on law enforcement agencies to devote extensive resources early on in investigations. In Dakara's case, while local news outlets reported her disappearance, the case did not dominate headlines beyond her community. The pace of developments in the case has raised questions within the community. Dakara's family immediately stressed that her disappearance was out of character. However, critics argue that adult missing persons cases are often not treated with urgency by law enforcement, especially when an individual is over 18 and initially presumed to have left voluntarily. In communities of color, this perceived lack of urgency fuels distrust in the system. Many families believe more could be done with modern technology, such as real-time access to surveillance networks, faster tracking of cell phone data, and broader coordination across jurisdictions. Community members in Lanham and Langley Park organized vigils and circulated flyers, demonstrating the role local support plays when official resources feel insufficient. But without answers from authorities, suspicion and frustration grow. The first possible outcome is that the remains are identified as those of Dakara. If so, the autopsy becomes critical. The autopsy will provide clarity on the cause of death, whether it was natural, accidental, or the result of homicide. The manner of death would determine the direction of the investigation moving forward. If the autopsy shows signs of foul play, Prince George's County Police would shift the case from a missing person search to a homicide investigation. Detectives would retrace her steps from the evening of August 23rd, focusing on the period between her last text message and the discovery of her vehicle. Surveillance footage, digital forensics, and witness interviews would become central tools. Authorities would seek to identify whether she encountered someone in Langley Park, whether her phone data points to a suspect, and how her body traveled from her last known location to Anne Arundel County. The impact on her family and community would be immediate. Her parents, who had held on to hope, would now confront the confirmation of their loss. Vigils would shift from rallies to demand her safe return into memorials honoring her life. The local community, already mobilized, would intensify demands for justice and answers. Public pressure would remain high, requiring the police to release periodic updates about the progress of the investigation. For the community, the confirmation would raise safety concerns. Residents of Lanham, Hyattsville, and Langley Park would question whether a predator was at large. Discussions would increase about safety in those neighborhoods, particularly for young women. The broader conversation might also include the role of police response timelines and the resources allocated to missing Black women. The second outcome is that the body discovered in Anne Arundel County does not belong to her. In this scenario, the case will remain open as an active missing person investigation. Her family would continue to endure uncertainty, living without closure and continuing the search. The investigation would focus again on the vehicle and her last known movements. Police would continue to examine the surveillance footage to see if her path beyond Riggs Road could be traced. Witness canvassing in Langley Park would expand, as investigators would need to determine whether anyone had seen her after leaving her vehicle. Digital forensics would also play an increasing role. The phone, which had been missing, could hold critical evidence if its final pings were retraced by cell tower analysis. Investigators would look for signs of communication with anyone else on the night of August 23rd. The longer the case remained unsolved, the more pressure would build on law enforcement to keep the search active. Media attention, often inconsistent in missing persons cases involving young Black women, would need to be sustained by the family and the community. Vigils and rallies would be essential to maintain visibility, and the GoFundMe would continue to provide financial support for search efforts. If no body is identified as hers, her disappearance would join a long list of unresolved cases, leaving her family in a prolonged state of uncertainty. The community would have to balance hope that she might still be found alive with the fear of what might have happened to her. The haunting detail that defines this case is the final message sent to her father. "I got gas and I'm out. I should be back soon. I love you too. Good night, Red Heart." Those words, ordinary in every way, now serve as the last known trace of her. Whether the body in Arundel County belongs to her or not, the disappearance of 19-year-old Dacara Thompson remains filled with unanswered questions. Why was her vehicle left abandoned with her belongings inside, yet her phone and car fob missing? Who, if anyone, saw her after she walked away from her SUV? How did her trail end so suddenly in Langley Park? For her family, the agony lies in the waiting. For the community, the concern lies in the unknown. And for investigators, the challenge remains to piece together the hours between her last message and the discovery of her car. The questions linger, and the answers remain out of reach. As the search continues or the investigation shifts, one fact remains certain. The final text from a daughter to her father will never be forgotten. Anyone with information related to the disappearance of Dakara Rose Thompson is urged to contact Prince George's County Police or Maryland State Police. If you found this story as gripping and heartbreaking as we did, don't forget to like this video and share it with others. And if you want to hear more true crime stories that uncover the mysteries behind these tragic events, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell. You won't want to miss our latest stories, updates, and discussions. Thank you for joining us on this journey to seek justice and explore the truth. Together, we can make a difference. Until next time, stay safe and stay aware.